Q-Tech, to pressurise the machine, you would push it down, and to release the pressure, you would lift it up on a Q-Tech machine. So you've got two different modes. You've got it in its vertical flap, so it's sticking out that way. It's in prime, and then you push it down, and that goes into pressure mode. So this is slightly different. So the first thing while it's in prime mode, so with that up, is to just pump it all through until you've got hot soapy water circulating through here, and then leave that running for about a minute or so, and then at this point you'll still be using hot soapy water, so it's going to take quite a bit of solvent to do this because it's a 15 metre hose.
Right.
So once you've done this with hot soapy water, so pull the trigger first. The reason you pull the trigger first before you do this is because it keeps it open circuit, because if you don't, it'll try and build pressure up. So you pull the trigger, put it into its spray mode or its pressure mode. So on the Q-Tech you put the prime valve down, you then turn the valve to start pumping it. It will take a lot longer on a brand new hose because it will be empty, and you're basically just waiting for this to circulate through the whole pump. So you want a consistent light stream, and this is the same when you're going to paint it. This is exactly the same process every single time. Always got to do this, because then what happens is you let go of that, and pressurise, and when it's pressurised it will stop. So wait to release that pressure, turn the machine off. What will happen if you do it in the wrong order, and I can show you this because we're in car park. So, while they're doing this straight mode, you step aside. That's what will happen. And like I said, that process is the same when you're going from water, in this case, solvent to paint, paint to solvent. So the clean up and the setup, the same thing, the same process, it's just in reverse depending on what you're doing. Really easy. Once you've got into the cycle of it, it's really not that complicated. It's just getting your head around that to begin with and fumbling around. There's 3 filters that need cleaning every single time. You've got manifold filter in here, that is the same on the 290, there's a manifold to the side. You've got your suction filter, and there's a filter in the gun. So the filter in the gun is really easy to get out. You have to take the trigger lock off, pull the trigger back a little bit, obviously make sure the machine's got no pressure in it, pull this out, and then unscrew the top of the gun. And in there, you've got a pencil filter, and the spring. Don't lose the spring, because everyone loses the spring. Don't lose the spring. So the spring goes in first. Obviously clean your filter out accordingly. This filter will only work if you put it in the right way. It's open hole at one end, and it's got a closed hole at the other end. So the closed hole goes down, so the pointy end is up. The reason for that is because the point has to go through the filter gauze and up out the top. If you put it in the other way, the closed end will butt into the hole in the end of the gun, and it will do nothing because you'll have just blocked the end of the gun. So a lot of people do it, even the experienced guys do it. So make sure you put that back in the right way, hook that back in, so put your trigger lock back on. Whenever you're not using the gun, put the trigger lock on. This is probably the most messy part of cleaning, so you have to crack that off. What's going to happen? It's a blue roll. Yeah. I'll probably need some more in a minute, but that is your manifold filter. That wasn't actually as messy as I thought it was going to be. So the Tritech one's slightly different to the Q-Tech one, so this has actually got a spring inside it, and that's what stops it from compressing. The Q-Tech one, when you pull the top of the manifold cap off, the filter is actually attached to it. So it's like a long rod with the filter clamped around the outside of it, so you have to pull the filter off that. Same principle, just it's a different design. So pull that off, give the filter a good clean your manifold cap out, clean out in there. What I would say, take the filter out and put the manifold back on without it while you're doing the main clean out, because otherwise you're just constantly trying to clean through a filter. If you remove the filter, clean out much quicker. Same with the gun. If you take the filters out and then start running your solvent through, everything's going to push out quicker than it is if you're trying to push it back through a fibrous filter. Make sense?
Yep.
So when you put that back together, once it's all clean, obviously screw this back together. These don't need to be done up stupidly tight. They literally, the Q-Tech one, you actually use the C-spanner that comes with it, because they've got a larger manifold cap on them. But yeah, this one's just slightly different. So that only wants to be nip tight. As for cleaning the actual spray tips out, so spray tips themselves, the only way you'll clean that out is by spraying pressurised solvent through it. Don't try and stick implements in it to clean it, because you're talking thousandths of an inch and they're made of tungsten. So if you try and clean it with implements, you could chip the tungsten, which is going to affect the spray fat. So the only way you clean that is at the end of cleaning everything else out. So when the machine's full of clean solvent, put your tip and guard back on.
Yeah, it will work in conjunction with 3M. See, it won't be compatible.
Like that, pressurise the machine up and literally just spray through. So in this case, I would pressurise it. All I do is spray it underwater, turn it 180 degrees so that it's facing the wrong way, spray it back through the other way, and that's it. That's the only way you're going to clean that. And then obviously remember, turn your machine off and release your pressure before you start hand